We're going to talk about the latest GRE study guidebook. That's the only one available for the updated GRE general test as of the beginning of 2024. The Kaplan test prep publisher company of Florida, USA. GRE trademark symbol, Graduate Records Exam Prep Plus 2024 to 2025. Updated for the new GRE general test. 6 practice tests plus proven strategies plus online. Higher score guaranteed or your money back. Conditions apply. For details, GRE trademark symbol is a registered trademark of Educational Testing Service (ETS), which is not affiliated with Kaplan and was not involved in the production of and does not endorse this product. Inside the book, this is the online resources link for the Kaplan publisher company online resources website. Hyperlink to redeem the online materials for this book. It's overall in a similar format to the Princeton Review and the McGraw-Hill publisher GRE study guidebooks of 2023. The McGraw-Hill publisher has not seemed to publish a newest GRE study premium book as of 2023 and now 2024, and it is the official GRE study books publisher for the 2017 or 2018 official US ETS GRE General Test Study Book. That's why these third-party publishers, private publishers, published GRE General Test Study Books of the latest, most up-to-date versions are very important to buy and study with. The book has several sections. On the table of contents, there are several different parts, and they correspond to the introduction and the 3 parts of the GRE General Test. And part 5 is the practice test. Part 6 is some information for test day and beyond for the GRE general test. Part 7 is some GRE related resources. The Princeton Review GRE study book has premium version. GRE study book premium version of the Princeton Review has the postgraduate degree application related resources available. You can get to read it after you purchase the book. So they say different books really come with different resources and materials, right? Is it just the publisher or the author team? Is it the company behind the universities associated with the book publisher? Did you believe this would be a very great inside scope of the publishing industry and higher education of the US? Something you might recognize. Again, relating to or involving a pen for little children to play in China. You can ask questions to the fairy of pen or a ghost. It could be a ghost spirit. Little children in China play this game every day, all the time. They're like with a friend of their own or by themselves, asking questions to the abyss, the unknown. Like, you could ask by writing on a piece of paper your questions and the alphabet letters, or following a format for playing the game of the pen fairy, the pen spirit, pen ghosts. God, hallelujah. And you write that on the paper in front of you, where you are. You play with the pen. And then, if you have watched some movies, like ghost horror movies or cartoons, or Japanese animation cartoons, you know that some of those who play the game, despite that they have no money and they have the audacity to do anything ever, just died. Culture of society is a reflection sometimes, not just reflection, but it does reflect real actual events of society in real time. So people who are well educated know that if they saw certain TV shows or movies appearing on TV or in movie theaters or on the internet, they would not take it lightly or just dismiss it, but sometimes would wonder or consider whether it contains certain important message pertaining the current times and the future. You're too naive. Isn't it obvious enough that nobody cares about you? You're sitting in front of a TV screen, saying something to somebody's head that appears on a TV screen, you know. Means nothing to anybody ever. Nobody cares to find out what you have to say, first of all. Secondly, if you died looking at a TV screen someplace, like you're crossing the street on the traffic, walk, the crosswalk. If you didn't look at the light, the street lights and the traffic light, to make sure it's the green light for pedestrian crossing, because you're walking and crossing the street like anybody. It could be walking, or they could be driving a car. You don't need to remember how to walk across the street safely. It's fine. You do not need to know or remember how to walk across a street safely, and that's fine, because nobody cares about some useless person who has no money like you. Especially in this minute, or this the current time, nobody cares about you whatsoever. They will not give a damn, even if you die in front of their faces. In society, that's how things and people are. Not only is it apathetic, it is also impersonal. Only question of your motive to talk to anybody when you are of no money. How did you plan to murder somebody you talk to for your economic motives? Is what the US government and or public safety would be investigating into any time they found out you talk to anybody. And no amount of your trying to sidestep or distract the government or even the armies could ever succeed, because you are too stupid. So especially if you do not understand even any language, you have no words to persuade anybody successfully. That's really useless and futile effort of yours to try to lie to anybody. You know when you should not say anything at all? When you're in nature and you're not sure if there's wild animal around that will eat animals and human beings. You just be really quiet. You don't tell the animals where you are physically by speaking to the earth. Let them know your location physically and close in on you to eat you alive. Some of us growing up studying as full-time students of science or humanity, like liberal arts and social science and humanities, standard schools classes of a little bit of theater performance experience, and we were taught important code of theater performance, literature creation, drama writing. As some of you know, there are indeed university majors for the art of theater or drama or movies, etc. It is a part of culture. It is to some degree important. Human beings without culture will not be human beings. It does not make money, but you won't even be alive as a human being without any culture. What's there to lose anyway? Reasoning, logic, rationality are all thanks to the language center of people's heads. It's like you might meet some people and it takes you years of observing them, being around them physically, and setting up a game you plan by writing on a piece of paper what you say to them. And with the correct methodology to realize they talk like robots. They create no original idea. To realize they never understood anything you ever said to them in language. Not because it's a foreign language you said to them in, but it's their so-called native language, mother tongue. But they did not understand a thing you said to them at all. As a characteristic that's common about some people like that is that they respond emotionally to key words or key phrases you say to them relating to money, food, sex, clothing you would give them or buy for them. And you rationalize the way they respond to you as that they react to what you say to them, that you start to please them, to make them happy. Very lovely and adorably, in a quote loving unquote way, with a smile. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Try to relax and realize somebody you had thought you knew for days or weeks or even years did not come up with the things they said to you themselves, but have been told what to say to you or somebody else by their illegal activity scammer groups behind them that control them. They're like puppets controlled by the illegal scammers and illegal activity groups. It could even be addiction substances, illegal sales or trades groups, extremely illegal and dangerous, hidden in society. Know that even if those illegal activity groups had their conversations in front of you, they spoke to each other in front of you, you will not realize. They might be planning their mafia gang activities, or They might be planning their addiction substances distribution plans on their murder plots for money, and you are their murder target. You are their murder target. They're talking about in front of you. You might not realize it. So why they say knowledge is power, knowledge is key, information is important, intelligence is critical. Critical reasoning is very important for university higher education study and career development of adults of any age. Those of us who don't know the answer. So there's an Italian man, he said, hypothetically, he said, quote, "Mama sita, and the woman said back to him, "What, cafe? Italiani, pizza, pasta, tiramisu, chocolate, perfume, Le Cafe, arrachera beef steak, my ex-husband Robert of Rochester, New York, USA, and Canada told me to say back to him, quote, papi, unquote." That's several years ago, at least, before I separated from him legally to run for my life, before he would kill me for money. Scary. I finally worked up the courage to tell public safety my fear that my ex-husband Robert had been trying to murder my family and I for money. You know what they say? You're correct. He's very dangerous to you. You should never let him know where you are physically. Tell yourself, you don't know him, or you don't know him anymore. He cannot find you and try to harm you like before. You don't have somebody you know named Japin. She cannot come to the US. Your ex-husband Robert cannot come here to this state in USA. Do not let them know your telephone number. Do not let them talk to you and lie to you. That's what public safety said, and I have the report. Public safety printed out for me. Just a few months back. Like in the end of 2022 or beginning of 2023. And right now it's the beginning of 2024. We don't tell people necessarily or ever why privacy is number one concern of the US for anybody. For the US government and public safety and the US Army. But that if you tried ever to pry into somebody's privacy, we question your motive. And I'm a US government, Congress leader, lady, and you as GRE member leader, invited to help lead the US Congress and US GRE board. I'm a board leader of the US GRE board here in USA. I don't care, I own businesses. You only have one goal in the walk of life. No matter how you interpreted it, just know the facts that whatever you do ever, only you will endure whatever pertaining yourself individually. That's why individualism is important for here, the US society. For here, in US society, individualism signifies the life of the individual person. For example, in the Hershey chocolate factory plant of here the US, in one state, according to the news, an illegal worker had fallen into a pot of chocolate in the making. This is not Hershey chocolate. It's not Hershey chocolate. It's a different chocolate brand. He fell into a pot of chocolate or some chocolate making machine. He died. An individual person that was once in its own peace, wholesome, and individual fell into a pot of chocolate, died inside a chocolate machine in a chocolate factory plant here in the US. That's why privacy and individualism are two important key points for human safety. Anybody ever assaulting you verbally or even physically could be a murderer towards you and or everybody else in society, and you need to ask for help. If they know where you are physically, you just get to go home. You gotta go home or go back to your hotel. You stay if you are traveling. How you exist in the world is not really anybody else's business. In a way, really, nobody cares. Like I always tell people, no one cares. I'm not the only one or the first one to say that nobody cares here in the US. Actually, anytime you spoke to anybody and try to tell them something about yourself, after a certain point or a certain period of time, they finally will say to you the same thing. Who cares? Or nobody cares. Or they don't care. I don't care, we would say. It's like, you ask them, their private information, their consuming habit of everyday commercial products, but you're not a marketer. And this is when you might try to remember that marketing lets you ask about private information of, quote, target customers, unquote, right? Or, quote, target audience, unquote. You ask them, which dental stick do you use? They tell you. And you get to pretend you know them just with these two. Chocolate and dental stick. Some people really do, in their stupid heads, believe that they can claim that they know somebody with just some little pieces of information they thought they knew about somebody else. That's why when you go to shop at a supermarket here in the US, even if you are a long-time customer loyal to a certain brand or product, something as simple as chocolate, they could be out of stock, and this is not the chocolate brand I wanted to buy the chocolate of, but it's what they have because they ran out of all the other chocolate brand chocolates. No Godiva, no Lindt, no other chocolate brands, but just the generic supermarket chocolate brand. They're like, then I know where you shop, which supermarket store you shop at. No, you don't. You know how many supermarkets there are here in the US? Plus, if you ever had the audacity to visit certain stores, retail stores, that have all your information, like your health information, they have facial recognition devices installed in the entrance of the stores, and as soon as you enter, they lock onto you. So they always welcome you to that specific retail store locations because they want to get to know more about you. They'll have more data in the data pool about you if they had a problem with you. And you are stupid enough, you're audacious enough to show up there as a pedophile, which means children sexual molesters that we chase after and pursue legally from the US universities, US government, and US legal jury board unceasingly as great supporter and fan of US PBS, quote, to catch a pedophile, unquote, documentary movie film. We can recognize the way pedophiles and cold-blooded serial killer murderers speak. I would do a little snippet to show how they could speak. Quotes. I'm a man. A fat, older man. Can you tell this fat, older man if I can bring you home with me and we can have good fun together? That's why, but it's not really true. The fat older man always move his fat older body like this. Unquote. That's one methodology acting. Never go any place all by yourself without telling anybody where you're going, or you're going someplace, or at least send them a text message beforehand to establish a connection, a communication. You need to have a point of contact before you go someplace by yourself. It could be your family or friends, or some company, or places you know in society. The internet is always the fastest way to communicate in the modern days. It's where the money is. When it comes to money, the seriousness is quite real. A pedophile fat older man or a pedophile fat older man locking onto a child, predator target for sex and murder and money through murder, had the lie he had come up with, and his contemplated murder plan and plots. It could take years to unfold. If you're that child and your parents are not the type that told you never to speak to stranger people, we're not gonna help you in society. No, nobody cares. It's a fair world. Farewell. Right? A fat pedophile man who molests children or rapes women, or do both, might have the arm size of a width of this wide, his fat rapist and killer arm, or that wide. The force, the impact is way more than a small piece of chocolate thrown at any place. When it hits you, it can kill you, but you're not really trained to evade and escape their physical attacks. So you never really realized how close you are to dangers and even the end of your lives when a fat man shows up around you and you're not alert towards it. Still, here USA is the #1 country in the world and the safest it can be, any place. Where could a highly educated person have studied all the knowledge of safety listed as moments ago? University textbooks and books and magazines and newspapers and the US government, official government website, safety advisories, privacy advisory, privacy statement saying that the US government will never solicit any individual or organization information of privacy of any person here in the US on the US government website, usa.gov. That's another way to interpret quotes. Nobody cares about you, unquote, indeed. Not even the US government cared about you. Not only are you supposed to leave the US country if you're not legal here, but you are supposed to leave the living world altogether. I might say to you, they read this great book. Why? When we spend money or we study or we drink coffee or water or milk or fruit juice. We kill you faster with society activities legally. That's why we would say things like, I'm reading this great book. Whether you understood anything is nobody's concern. And because you're a model, other people model you even faster. Somebody forgot about the promise of respect for human lives they had. When they disrespected human life of legal population or themselves, they ended up being dead. It's unstoppable. It's like one of the truths of life in the living world and in society. The US government would say on the US government website, quote, be aware, unquote, but not necessarily, quote, be careful, unquote, no, be aware. It's not about you realizing anything, but just like awareness, knowing means knowledge. I guarantee that since you lack language centers in your heads, you will not be able to recite even one full paragraph of William Shakespeare's classical literature, theater work, drama, script. You wouldn't even be able to read the English words in the William Shakespeare's theater, drama, scripts. Like Summer Night, Romeo and Juliet, Romeo and Juliet, Romeo, mirror, mirror on the wall, was the most beautiful woman. Romeo's like, you're the most beautiful Juliet, fucking piece of shit. They killed each other, they're like, they died underground, quietly covered up, buried, and just be there like dead, intimate as they could be, like. Kung Fu martial art. Have you heard of Francis Bacon? My ex-husband Robert of Rochester, New York, USA, really liked to eat bacon that are fried and fully cooked. He's from Canada. Do you know what he looks like when he's half naked? You're like, how? He looks like a naked bacon strip. And he has a bald head. It means he has no hair on his head. So he's like bacon from head to toe. And he's born in Canada. It makes sense. We all like adding maple syrup to pancakes and bacon. It's not really up to par for the office work. What you gonna do, man? But nobody really says that in the offices, in work setting, in society, really. So they'd be like, you saw this piece of chocolate, see that 2 pieces of chocolate. This piece of chocolate symbolizes enemy to my family, or enemy to US government. And when you eat that piece of chocolate, you get to know a little bit about how it is for the other side. There's no such possibility because this is a US and a European supermarket brand chocolate. It doesn't symbolize anything but just commercial retail product. On the package for this food item, there's no USDA or USFDA label trademark. What does it mean? Means it could be without inspection. No inspection for such food item.